Hi, it's Ali here, and I hope you're well on this lovely Friday evening here in the UK. So, how has your week been? Have you had a good week? It's been crazy, mad, boring, whatever it is, it's Friday, and I hope you have the most wonderful weekend planned. For me, I've had a really good week, and actually, a lot of my clients this week have been children, which I absolutely love working with because they have the most amazing imaginations, and that really helps with hypnosis. And to see them coming into me being shy or anxious or feeling very stressed and walking away feeling really good about themselves, and they have their color that I help them to think about when it comes to feeling confident or not feeling stressed and being able to go for things, and they just walk out with this lovely colored bubble in their mind, and they just walk differently, and they've got a massive smile on their face. So I absolutely love working with children. So I thought today that I would share with you just 5 things that you could do with your children or grandchildren which would help them if they do feel that they get very stressed or they have anxiety, or if they lack confidence and they don't want to do things because they just don't feel enough. So before we do the 5 tips, there's just one thing that I think is really important, and that is that if your child is upset about something, but to you, when you look at what they're upset about, it's just something really tiny, and you just sort of, oh, you'll be fine, and not really acknowledge how hurt or upset they are, because this thing might be really small to you, but to that child, it could be their world, and they are absolutely devastated over it. So just spend some time to really understand it from how they're seeing it. And just instead of actually trying to make it right, try to understand more. And that really will help them. So let's go to the first tips. The first thing is don't label your child. Now, for me, this is a really important one because as a child, I was labelled as not very confident. I lacked confidence, and everyone would say, "Oh, Ali can't do that. She's not very confident." And I actually learnt from everyone around me that I wasn't. So, as a child, a teenager, and in my early adulthood, that's what I believed about myself. And as I grew and learnt and developed and really did a lot of study and really grew myself, I realized that that wasn't true. So if you actually start saying to other people with your child there saying, oh, well, he's not very confident, or yeah, she's very anxious, they're listening and they're going to take that in as their blueprint of who they are. So really try to refrain from using these labels, because you don't want your child to grow up feeling that they are an anxious child or they have no confidence. So start checking the words that you use, especially when it comes to labeling. And that leads me nicely on to the second tip, and that is about the words we use. Because if we are saying that you couldn't do this because you're anxious, or you're talking about an event, maybe even for yourself, and you're using words like anxiety, stress, that you can't do it, and that you hate something, that you really want to do it but you're not going to do it, all of those things they take on board. So try to use really positive words, reinforce them of being someone that can do something, because at the end of the day they are children that are developing. And the more that we can tell them that they are good enough, they can do these things, and be positive and help them to be the best they possibly can be in life, even though it's hard for them. And I know that the instinct is to wrap them in cotton wool and protect them from things. But later in life, that's not going to help them. So really be careful of the words that you use around your children, and try to be as positive as you possibly can be, and build their self-esteem. And we've got to also be a little bit careful that we're not saying that they are amazing when they do a certain thing and then they're not when they're doing other things, because they feel that their self-worth is through maybe drawing or sport or whatever. So they feel that they're not good enough when they're doing other things. So praise them when they do something really well. Praise them even if they don't succeed. It's actually taking that step and doing something that's hard for them. They might have failed, but don't say, "Oh, you failed, and next time maybe you'll be better." Just say, "Oh, the fact that you took part in a play, or you did some sport, or you tried to do something new. Okay, it didn't quite work out this time, but you've learned so much from it." And you help them to develop through what they're doing. So words are so, so important when you're dealing with children. Then the third thing, I've sort of clicked on this already, is if your child is really nervous about doing something, our instinct is to sort of say, "Oh, you don't have to do it." But the more they don't do the things that they are fearful of, or they feel a bit stressed about, or they don't have the confidence to do, it's not developing that muscle. So with, a guiding hand, positive words, saying the fact that it doesn't matter if they don't do it 100%. It's fine to fail because you learn from those things, and to help them have that confidence to go for it and do it. And it is scary. I mean, let's face it, as adults, if we're doing something new, we feel nervous, we feel anxious, we might not feel we're confident enough. But the more we do something, the more confident we become, the less fearful we become. At the end of the day, every child learnt to walk. They kept on failing, they kept on falling over. They weren't very good at it, but we carried on encouraging them to do it. And it's the same with things that they're fearful of. The more that we help them to develop and go for it and grow from experiences, the more confident and self-assured they're going to be. And I think we need to remember that anxiety and stress are just emotions. They're just the way we feel about something. We're not a stressful person. We're not an anxious person. We're not a person that lacks confidence. We're a person that can lack confidence in certain situations. We're someone that can feel stress or anxiety in certain situations, but we're not like it all the time. And that leads me on to the next tip is remind your child of the times they've done something they've been worried about, or they didn't have the confidence to do it, but they did it. And really just build this storybook of things that they've actually done. They feared it and they conquered it. Because if they can see they've done it in the past and gone for something and was successful, and it didn't blow up in their face, it wasn't horrendous, the more likely they're going to face new things. It's important that they can see that they've done it before. And also the same with yourself, is give them stories of times that maybe you were fearful of something and didn't have the confidence, but you did it, and it felt a little bit awkward and it was hard, but you were so pleased that you did it, and share with them that you have the same feelings and it's normal. Because unfortunately social media makes anxiety and stress this really big bad thing that people shouldn't have, but it's part of being human. Let me think, have I got anything else? No, I think that's my main things, is just to watch your words, don't label them, tell them it's okay to have these feelings, build them up with positivity and praise them when they go for it, and use their imaginations. If they are worried about something, maybe at bedtime or just before, instead of maybe talking about the day or something, say to them, just imagine for a minute what it would be like to go to that party or to do something they've not done before, and you feel good about yourself. You can get their imagination really working well, and maybe add a color to it and call it their confidence color. And if you feel a bit nervous or you don't feel confident, you bring this color up and you can feel that confidence growing within you. There's so many things that you can do to help your child feel more confident and not feel that stress and anxiety is something that, is strange. It is part of being human, and it's okay to feel those things. And If you or any members of your family feel that actually hypnosis could help you build your confidence, help you with your stress and anxiety levels, then give me a call. I can give you a no obligation 30-minute chat. All you need to do is go to my website, and on there you can go to my diary and book an appointment, because life's too short to keep on thinking that you're not enough, that you're not confident enough, and that you're someone that is just full of stress and anxiety, and don't feel that you can really enjoy your life, because it doesn't have to be that way. So I hope these few tips that I've given you really help you with your children or your grandchildren, or even yourself, because let's face it, as I say, it's something that our society is making so big now that it's a bad thing to have stress and anxiety. But they're the things that motivate us and help us to get through things. And if we don't have a handle on it, it gets out of hand, and then that's why it's bad for our mental health. But if we can control those feelings and use them and realize that they're fine, it's just helping us to understand the situation a bit more. That maybe a child has a test and they're really anxious about it. Why are they anxious about it? Is it because they haven't studied enough? Is it because they fear of failure? And help them work through those things. So I hope this has helped. Until next week, have a fantastic weekend and a really good week. And I'll speak to you then. Bye-bye.